I've just seen Black Adam, so let's talk about it. Also, spoilers, as if you haven't seen this movie, I will be talking about things that you probably don't want to know until you've seen it. Now, one of the more smaller things I want to mention before I forget is the soundtrack. As I thought the background music and fights and emotional scenes were always perfect. And I know it might not sound important, but I feel like music can really change how you feel about a scene. So, in my opinion, it really is important to a scene that the background music really fits with it. And I think it never really not dropped ever. I thought the quality of the background music at every point of the movie was, in my opinion, just perfect. Now to the characters. So, of course, we're going to talk about Black Adam first. And while I thought The Rock did a great job, I felt that despite being the title character, he strangely didn't seem to be the main character of the movie. Instead, it was more of an ensemble. With Black Adam not even showing his face until the first 20 minutes of the movie, which is very surprising when the movie is called Black Adam. But, this is a big but, whenever he did actually appear, and I thought the character really did look like the character from the comics. He acted like him, he fought like him, his powers were like him, it just really, really felt like I was reading a comic book. And I also enjoyed the plot of his son, as that's not actually from the comics, and when I found out they were going to be making that change, I'll be honest, I was really, really nervous. But after watching the movie, I have to say, it not only did it work, but it made me actually like the character more, as I think you kind of latch on to Black Adam as a character due to the fact that you know how his son died. It also makes him feel more like an actual person that he actually cared for somebody. Because if he was just this godly figure who didn't have any emotion at all, you probably wouldn't really care for the character. But instead, him having a connection with his son and relating that to Amon, sorry, I think kind of actually makes you feel for Black Adam even more. And I really did like The Rock in this role. I didn't think he was overly hilarious, but still pretty funny. So, despite the fact that he's technically not even the main character of his own movie, which is really, really weird to me, he still is, in my opinion, a great character, and I really, really hope to have him return in this role. Next is the Tomas family. I thought Adrinna was a great Indiana Jones, and while she didn't have her powers from the comics, I thought she still managed to hold her own in a believable way. Same thing with her son Amon. I liked he wasn't just a standard child in a superhero movie, but instead he was kind of a rascal and kind of like a possible child of Aladdin. I really thought he was extremely sneaky, extremely smart, but in a believable way. He wasn't overdoing it. And for the uncle, I thought he was fun, but I really didn't see the point of his character all too much, as the whole cast is really crowded already, to a point where Black Adam's not even the main character. So, honestly, I feel like his scenes could have just gone to either his sister or his nephew. The JSA. I thought for the most part they worked, but there was definitely a black sheep of the group that we'll be getting into in a moment. But for the others, Dr. Fate and Hawkman were definitely by far my favorites. Even if I thought they kind of took away from Black Adam, but honestly, I don't really mind. I thought Dr. Fate being made kind of quirky but wise was a very good choice. Well, I thought Hawkman was kind of a stick in the mud at points, but you kind of needed that story-wise. Onto the newest members, I thought Cyclone, while she didn't do much, I still thought she had great powers. I thought they visually looked stunning. And I really like how she blew up Amon's cape, so, he could feel like a superhero. And I thought it was just really, really nice of her. And I just think the character came across as a really, really nice person. But the black sheep of the group, I felt, was Atom Smasher. Well, I was defending the character when people were calling him a Deadpool ripoff, because his character did come around before Deadpool. But honestly, weirdly, he kind of was a Deadpool ripoff in the actual movie. Even down to his own humor and how his suit functioned when it came down to him talking. When the character was talking in his mask, he literally looked like Deadpool. And I also thought his powers weren't very useful in a battle. Well, this battle in particular. Because when they're fighting Intergang in, the air, he can't fly, so he was stuck on the ground. And I just really didn't understand why Hawkman would call him to join the mission, when the character didn't really add much to the mission, as he's the only one who can't fly, therefore he can't really help with the mission. Intergang. Well, I love the commentary that was being made, and I thought it was done very well and tastefully. I didn't really understand why they were called Intergang, due to the fact that the characters are nothing like Intergang for the comics, nor were they even a gang, so it doesn't really make much sense story-wise either why they would call it Intergang, when they're a government operating in the conduct, they're not an actual gang. And while I didn't dislike this group of villains because, like I said, I liked the commentary that was being made, I didn't really understand what their motivation was with the whole medal thing going on, because it's not really explained why they wanted the medal. Nor were they ever even defeated. Instead, their leader was, but they themselves were still around. Perhaps that will be a sequel? But I'm pretty sure the sequel is already packed with a lot. Well, potential sequel. It's just really odd to me that Intergang would only show up for like the first half of the movie, then kind of disappear for another villain, just so we can have that villain be defeated, but Intergang is never really talked about afterwards. Sebek. Well, I thought Sebek's CGI was great, and he looked pretty scary, like pretty devil-like. Not like too devil-like, but in my opinion, he looked pretty good. But surprisingly weak, as he was almost defeated and killed almost instantly when Black Adam showed up. And not only that, I feel as perhaps maybe the JSA could have just beaten him by themselves. As if Dr. Fate had unlocked them outside, I feel as if they probably would have won. And it's just, in my opinion, kind of odd that he was saying that he was going to get this great power, but when he got it, he practically died almost instantly after getting it. And when he was summoning those whole, like, zombie stuff, I didn't understand why the zombies were, necessary, because the zombies are defeated by mere citizens. So how powerful could they really be? Amanda Waller, I was glad to see her back, and I think that Viola Davis, like always, was great here. I thought a lot of her lines and threats towards the JSA and Black Adam were just bone-chilling, and I think she really comes across scary, because despite the fact she has no powers, she really does scare you with how she threatens you. Well, threatens the characters with actual powers. Because if she thinks that she can take them on, she probably could in some capacity. Not like hand-to-hand, of course, but she'd probably get one of her agents or the Suicide Squad or another team to take you out. Which is exactly what Amanda Waller did with Black Adam, calling in frickin' Superman, the biggest twist of them all. But I'm a little confused why Superman's taking orders from Amanda Waller, of all people. But I won't complain, because I'm just really happy to see Henry Cavill back. Because, well, I do have my own opinions on Henry Cavill's behavior. I can't deny that he is a great Superman, and you kind of need a Superman in the DCEU due to the fact that Superman is probably the biggest, well, one of the biggest characters of all of DC. I only say might not be the biggest because of Batman. So, in conclusion, this movie, in my opinion, was a very good movie. Yes, it had its problems, but overall, I would be able to see a sequel. In fact, I really want a sequel. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.